like a lot.
I don't know. I'm still trying to process because I just finished. So
I know, me too. I got the audiobook so I can make sure to finish in time.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I should have done that.
I had already borrowed it from the library. I thought I had it, but I guess I didn't own it. I guess I borrowed it before. So then when my June credit came up, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just get the Audible, and that way I can get it done in time. What?
Did you get a Prime Day deal?
No, I belong to Audible, but I don't do every month. I just do the every other.
Okay.
Because I don't necessarily need a book every month, but they have good sales sometimes, so I don't want to not be a member. Plus, I have like a ton of books on there, so.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a Barnes & Noble member, whatever that is.
Me too.
Yeah.
You get a percentage off or something. I don't know.
Oh, I try to get to be a part of these like affiliate programs, but I don't know. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for making it to our second book club of the month. Can't wait to see you guys for next month. So just to catch everyone up who might be watching in now or in the future, we read Life's Golden Ticket, and this is actually the second of book club discussions, the second and final for the month. The first book club discussion, we all read chapters 1 through 5, and then we went over our initial thoughts. This time we finished the book, and now we have some book ending questions that we're all going to talk about and just sort of discuss all our final thoughts. And then I guess at the end, we'll just wrap up with what's on schedule for July, which I'm excited about. 1, I couldn't believe how many pages that book was. And 2, it was an expensive price tag.
Really? For the Midnight Library?
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, not crazy, but it was definitely like $20 plus. I wasn't expecting that.
Really?
That's okay.
Wow.
So
I have a problem. I bought it and didn't even look at it. I don't know.
That's a true book lover there who doesn't even look at the cost of the book. They're just like,
look,
charge it to the
we'll go into my book buying stuff.
I've been getting books.
My husband supports me. I pay for it from like my Cash App. Like he drops money into Cash App for me, and I'm like, oh, I have money on my Cash App. Books, like that's all I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we even get into the discussion, just kind of tempo of the book. How did you guys find how long did it take you to finish the book? How much time did you dedicate each day or each week? Like, how did it feel getting through this book? Like, was it an easy read, a hard read?
Well, for me, I thought it was pretty easy while I was reading it. It took me so the first time I sat down and read the first 5 chapters, I did it in one sitting. Then the second time around, I think it took me maybe 3 sittings to finish it after the first 5 chapters. And I think it wasn't boring at all. I just think that I was tired when I was reading it. So it took me a while to like actually get through it because I was so exhausted and I kept like, okay, I can't do it anymore. So it took a while. Like I wanted to finish yesterday and I had like 40 pages left and I was like, I'm not going to get through it. And I didn't want to speed read it and not, under like fully grasp everything. So I was like, let me put it down and I'll finish it today. So I finished it today. But it was great. And I'm glad that I actually put it down and like was able to finish it and remember what I read.
Yeah, I agree with you. What about you, Catherine?
Like I said, I got the audio. Well, I did do one session where I started reading it again. But then I got the audiobook. So I listened in the car when I brought my son to and from where they were going, and then today I just listened while I was like cleaning the kitchen and things like that. So I finished it like about 7.
Now, did Brendan narrate it or did someone else narrate it?
He does his other books, but he did not do this one.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because of all the different characters. Normally his books are more nonfiction. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's because there were different characters or if because it was a long time ago, if he didn't, I don't know. But I have some of his other books that he does narrate, but this one wasn't.
He's so high energy that at least from what I see on his Instagram and everything,
Uh-huh.
I cannot imagine him narrating this book. But there were some times that, because now that I follow him, there were sometimes some passages and things that I would read, and I'd like read them in his voice, and I'm like, this just doesn't go. I can't, because once you know who the author is, you kind of sometimes like attach that person to the event, and you're like, oh my gosh, like even though it might not be a true account, you're just like, I can't believe they went through this, or I can't even imagine that, this is what they're saying. And so I had a few of those moments.
He actually had a live event, at least one live event where he did this. Like the people had, I mean, I don't know which events out of it, but he had he rented like a big top, like a circus tent, and they had golden tickets to get in. His mom was there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything more. I was thinking of it today. I remember he mentioned it. His first live event was something like this. And so I was thinking of that today. Like, I wonder which ones they did and how they did it. Like, I bet it was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so, and second, can I get a mug shot? Did everyone get their mugs?
I got mine.
Yay!
Trying to stay in frame, geez.
we can like clean
even put some tea in it.
There you go.
Wait.
Cheers.
There it is. Cheers. Okay.
They're very nice.
So, yes.
That's what he looks like. Hold on.
I also have those. So when it comes to like people's birthdays and things.
We're losing you.
Rose.
Breaking up here. That might be me. Let me get off my Wi-Fi. Let me see. Wi-Fi. Okay. Did I break up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are we all good now?
Tiny.
I think so. It's a little. It looks like it's a little laggy.
Monique, I see you. Can you
we see you. It's just a little laggy. There you go. It's starting to get better.
Okay. I disconnected my Wi-Fi. I feel like anytime I'm connected to Wi-Fi, it's trash. So
that's fun.
All right. So I guess we'll get into it, starting with, so I guess we'll go in order of how we all are. So I'll start with Monique, your thoughts, and then Catherine, yours, and then I'll give mine. And just to keep it a little organized, if that's works with you guys.
Sure.
All right, cool. So the first question for the ending of the book, and just I guess we can start with where we left off. So chapter 5, which is where we left off, that was the Ferris wheel. And just for anyone who might be listening, on the Ferris wheel, he had witnessed what Meg had went through. It's Meg, right?
Mary.
No, it's not.
I was like, it doesn't sound
I don't
right.
like, we don't like Meg around here.
Right.
Wait, why?
She's the fortune teller girl, right?
Oh, right. Yes, we don't like Meg. Yes, we don't like Meg.
Mary. So the narrator, he went on a Ferris wheel and he was able to see what happened to Mary, just to kind of get an idea, and not what happened as part of the book. And I guess it's hard to kind of go all the way into it, but the Ferris wheel was giving him flashbacks to some of the most influential parts of his life that would become part of his life themes. So then we pick up in chapter 6 with the parks theme, where he's faced with, you have to discover the answers for yourself, which is pretty much why he's in this magical place. So that is picking it up there. So book club ending. First question is, which location in the book would you most like to visit and why?
So honestly, I don't know why, but I had such a great time at the House of Mirrors. I really liked that, and I really liked that I thought it was interesting that he was able to see, like, when you first walk in and he sees like the different shapes that everybody takes, and then he walks in and he gets to the mirror and he doesn't see his reflection, but he has to look closer and look really, really close, and then he gets a flashback of what his life was, day to day, and how he didn't think that's what he looked like, but that's what he looked like and how he acted. And I like that whole scene because it's like it lets you look at yourself from somebody else's eyes, but the eyes were his, if that makes sense. And I loved everything about that whole scene.
Yeah, I found with that scene, I almost got emotional when he saw the little version of him.
Yeah.
You know? Because
Yeah.
how often are we told, nurture your inner child and this and that. And he was literally facing his inner child.
Yeah.
I think that scene had made me get emotional. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have an outsider's view too on your life, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're just going through it without,
Right.
a lot of us aren't even really present when we're going through our days. So to see what we actually look like and how other people actually perceive us is a interesting thing.
Right. But for him to actually look at it and realize that that's him, it's like you know what I mean? Like it
like
was
out
really
of body experience.
Yeah.
I like that. That was a good one. I had totally forgotten about that one.
I was looking at that, like which one would really stand out to me. And like, honestly, like I was like, okay, let me keep that in mind reading it. And I just kept getting brought back to the mirrors. And I really like that.
Yeah. Now, Catherine, what about you? Which one stood out to you most?
I actually really liked the boat part. How they were saying that some people are just drifters and just spinners. And I really think that, I don't like the part where they shoved him under the water, but I like the part where they talked about if you don't have a goal, if you're not going anywhere, like if you don't have a place to shoot for, then you're not going anywhere. You're just drifting. And I think so many people are drifting nowadays. They're not striving for a lot. They get a job and just kind of are happy just going about, doing the same thing day in and day out. And then they don't understand why they're, they get not frustrated, but they're just, not excited about it.
Yeah. They feel unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the analogy that he was talking about. He was like, it's those ones that are always constantly spinning that are the ones that take the longest to get in. They're in people's way. Those drifters, they're in people's way. And it's like, that's so true. That's so you have to maneuver around the drifters in life, because either they're not going anywhere. So
yeah.
Yeah. Like a roadblock. They're just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There were so many that I liked. I liked all the lessons, but I remember reading that part and thinking that's so true. And I wish everybody knew that.
So if you were to go to that location and visit, I don't think you'd be a drifter or the one in the spinner. You'd be
I think I'd be on the passing everybody by, trying to get to where I want to go.
Yep. That I know.
Try.
For me, it was the tightrope. The tightrope had given me so much. I was like reading that, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, my heart was racing the whole time. Like, "Oh my God, don't fall!"
Yes, and then if you fall, like, did you? Because every single time he messed up, it was like, you've ruined your chances. You're out of here. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's gonna turn around and he's not gonna get anywhere." But the thing I liked about the tightrope was, like, he was being pushed to do something that he was really uncomfortable with. And he had people encouraging him, cheering him on, someone in front of him, someone behind him, and then even still a safety net on the bottom if he failed. Like, he literally could not fail, and it just was him facing his fears and just doing it with the help of others. And knowing you're safe. Like, I feel like sometimes we don't do something because we're going to have to go it alone, but the tightrope was a really good visualization of you're not really alone, because if anything happens, someone from behind probably got you, someone in front of you, they're waiting for you, and they'll help you along the way. And if you fail, like, most of us have backup plans, there's always that fail safe.
I have something from the tightrope scene highlighted. I'm trying to find it.
Mm.
It said something like when he fell, he was like, "I can't believe I just fell," and they were like, "Well, you're supposed to fall." Like, and he's like, "Well, I didn't know I was supposed to fall. Like, why wouldn't you tell me that?" Like, it made him feel better that he was supposed to fall, but it's okay to fall. It's okay to fall as long as you get back up.
Mm-hmm. And it was the pressure. If they would have let him know from the beginning that don't worry about it, if you fail,
he wouldn't have tried. He wouldn't have tried so hard.
Mm-hmm. That's when you gotta like crack the whip and be on him, you know.
Cracking of the whip. I did not like that guy.
I know there were a few.
I did not like the lion tamer.
Yeah.
He was mean.
Yeah, there are a few that were just angry. I think they were mad at him for what he did to Henry.
Yeah,
they were taking it out on him.
Yeah,
I agree. That's a good segue into our second question, because I know what I liked least, but we're gonna start with the entire question, which is, what did you like most about the book, and what did you like the least?
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I liked the most is the different lessons. Even though they were hard lessons, there was a lot of hard lessons that he had to learn, and it made me question myself. It made me think about myself. I like that, and I think that obviously that's what the whole book is about. And I overall enjoyed the book. If there was one thing, I can't really pick out one thing that I don't like. I mean, I understood the lessons. I understood why each one had to happen. But if there was like a scene that I didn't like or that made me feel uncomfortable, maybe was the scene on the ship where he's fighting his father. That one kind of was just like, that was rough. That was rough to get through. That one, and the scene where he had to watch the little boy, I think his name is Todd, Mary's brother, die. That one was rough too. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that I dislike those scenes. I just think it was really rough to get through.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. The pirate ship was my least favorite. Yeah. It was triggering, you know. Yeah. Not to say like, you know, it just, if you're reading it and you have like past traumas, like that's something that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, you know. So I'm with you. That one, I was just like, this is a little graphic. This is a little.
And I think at the end of it, wasn't he fighting himself too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mary was on there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mary was on
Mary in the pirate ship.
She came up there, I think, too.
Let me see. I had yes, she came at the end, where,
I mean, he wasn't fighting her, I don't think, but she
no, okay. I was like, I don't remember her fighting.
No.
Yeah. No, she so I highlighted it where he had the shield up. And that's important to note too, because when we're fighting everyone around us, sometimes we end up directing that anger and that fight towards this one person that loves us and cares about us. So he had that shield up at the end, and Mary reached to try to pull the shield aside, saying, honey, let me in. I love you. I just want to know what's going on with you. I need to know. I need you. And so everything that he had been fighting, she was like, hey, look, I'm here for you. But with that shield he had from fighting himself, from fighting his past, he wouldn't let her in.
It's like a wall he had built.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. What about you, Catherine? Which one's for you? The least and the most. The most first, and then the least favorite parts.
I think my least would probably be the fortune teller. I think she was. I think it's hard to know what your future will be, and I think it's like she was just so confident, and I think he needed to hear that because he really needed something to, push him. But I didn't really like that part. My favorite part, probably the tightrope part. And then I didn't like the beginning of the lion part where the guy was like yelling at him. Like, I didn't like that, but I liked the part where he overcame his fear. And
Yeah.
I liked how, how they said, like, I liked the lesson that sometimes you need something bigger than yourself to fight for. Some people can do it, like, I think it was kind of how they say your why you're going for anything is so important.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't have changed even after he left there, even after all of that. If it was just him, he wouldn't have changed. He was changing, because of how much he loved Mary.
Mm.
So I liked that he was able to overcome his fear, both on the tightrope walk and with he could finally stand up for himself. I liked both of those.
Speaking of which, I didn't expect it to be like kind of a love story. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't fully a love story, but then at the end, which we'll get to, you realize that it's all interconnected, and the driving force ends up being for either what we love or who we love. Okay. For me, my favorite part was about the whole book in general. It felt relatable, kind of like you were saying, Monique, where you can look at your life through the lens of what the author is talking about in each different scene. Even if it isn't like specifically something you've gone through, it still is like, yes, like a challenge that he's talking about is something like that I felt too. And even with the fortune teller, I've gone to a fortune teller before, and the teller did just like Meg. Just like Meg.
So maybe I don't want to go anymore. Maybe not.
No. And so I was happy to get to the end of the book because I held on to what that fortune teller told me for years, and then I got to the end and I'm like, you know what? There are instances where people, things, I don't even know, they'll jump in and they'll try to write your fate for you. But like, as we can tell from the book, we're going to be faced with all types of adversity, challenges, good things, bad things. And as long as we're aware of like our theme, we have the ability to change that,
right.
And rewrite our fate.
Right.
So that was kind of my favorite part, was that I could look at it and say, this feels like something I've gone through. My least favorite was the pirate ship. We already covered that. Didn't like it. I just left that one out, but I understood why it was necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, which character or moment prompted the strongest emotional reaction for you and why? Catherine, I'm going to start with you on this one.
I think the first thing that came to mind when wasn't going through these while I was reading, but the first thing that came to mind was the strong man and his story, and how sad it was, but how life-changing it was at the same time, and how one moment or one thing that somebody says, good or bad, can change the whole trajectory of your life. And I found, I'm always sort of emotional for other people's pain anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, that was just a really good story.
You legitimately took the words right out of my mouth. That was my favorite character, and one I related to the most too. And I think with the story where, his father was literally dying before his eyes, and I'm never going to let anything like this happen in life again. It doesn't matter. And I think at the end of that chapter, he sat there with a smile or something like that. And you could visualize the transition of, this little small man to this big giant, and then to see the big heart within him, at like just the way it was written. So I'm right there with you on that one.
And I liked how they ended with, the last thing he lifted up was the log, which was probably the same, size as the one. And I think it's powerful too that he has two people try and lift it and they can't, which is, sort of confirmation, I think, for him that no matter how strong you had been, like if you had been your brother, if you had been one person wasn't strong enough to lift it at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good points. What about Monique? What about you?
So I got to like one of my favorite parts. So I don't really think that obviously my favorite character was Henry, and like he was my favorite. But the part that stood out to me was when Crank pulled does the guy have a name, the narrator?
No. I think
are you sure
saying that his name was something. I don't think.
I swear his name was Jonathan. I'm like, I'm trying to go back and look.
I thought you said it was Jonathan. I don't think he has a name.
I'm gonna go
narrator.
Back. Okay, the narrator. When he pulled the narrator out of the pool, and he's asking him, did you ever talk about? Did you ever talk about? Is it this guy? Yeah, because Squirt is the one who threw them in. Yep. So I have this highlighted. Well, you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. It's a cycle of silence. You lived your whole life holding on to your feelings, your thoughts, your concerns, your dreams, your nightmares. You're looping in the same old story. That part was like eye-opening for me. Because I always keep my mouth shut, and it's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And that's like you need to open your mouth and say your thoughts and make sure that you are promoting yourself to the best that you can. So
yeah, I liked that. I remember relating to that too, when they're like, you're silent, like your theme or whatever is silence, not speaking up.
Yeah. And that brought me back to the mirror scene when he's seeing himself in the conference room, and Henry's like, you're not even paying attention. You're just doodling on your paper. And he's like, I'm not doodling. I'm making a better product. And he, at the end of the whole conference meeting, he doesn't even tell them like, hey, this is what I have. He stays silent. And I'm just like, how many times do I do that? Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I can remember a time when I stopped, like when I switched and I was like, just saying what I, like standing up for myself, or just saying things like I wasn't afraid of, like what other people would think. Cause I'm like, it's my family and my friends. If they don't like what I'm saying, then are they really my friends? Or like, and I remember how great it felt, like how powerful it felt to just be okay with what I was thinking or what I was, and like, not nervous to, like, even, with my husband or something, like, he's your husband. Like, why are you nervous to say that you like this thing, or that you, or whatever? Like, he's going to think you're dumb. Like, he's your husband. He loves you. And if he doesn't, then that's a problem in itself that needs to be dealt with, Yeah. And I just remember it was very freeing and, made me feel much stronger than the reverse.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't think my problem is I've always spoken up too much. My mom, she has a story of me when I was a child, and she could hear me outside. Some kid stole my bike. Monique, you remember where we live, we ride bikes in California. Some kid stole my bike, and I had to be 8, and I just cussed. I was like, mother effer. And that has been the theme of my life. I just speak up and I speak out. And, I'm actually trying to do the opposite, where I'm trying to be more mindful of what comes out of my mouth. For me, so that was question number 3, right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So just to wrap up with question 3 from the strongman, since I chose the strongman too, my favorite part of that was the lesson. And I'll just read it because I just think it was so beautiful that I shared it on my Instagram too. We all get to a point where we decide to become stronger. When we start that process, a lot of people unknowingly stop our progress by trying to protect us or to keep us living according to the label they've created for us. If I had listened to my mom or my brother or my friends or my coaches, I would be a small, frail, weak kid who secretly despised himself for being that. Instead, I listened to those who encouraged me, like my dad, and I listened to my inner desires. I became who I wanted to be because I didn't get trapped in other people's ideas of who I should be. That is how I went from mouse to strongman, Mike. I was just like, yeah, preach.
Mhm.
That was a good. Um, okay, so then question number 4: what was your favorite chapter and why?
Let me go to it. The mirror scene.
Yeah.
Specifically the last let me see what chapter is this? The Hall of Mirrors, chapter 12. The last paragraph where he sees himself sitting on the table bawling his eyes out, but they're happy tears because he was so relieved that Mary said that she would marry him. Like, literally. I was like, oh, I even wrote like, oh my God, heartbreaking in the best way. Like,
yeah.
so good.
I always love a beautiful ending like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Catherine?
I don't know. I'm looking through the titles to remind me.
Mine was definitely The Strong Man. That one was
Yeah.
because of that whole passage I just read.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the saddest story with
Yeah.
the law.
What about Henry's story? When they were saying Henry's story, oh my God, that was heartbreaking too. When his brother got so excited and he was drunk and like leaped off the bed and broke his neck. Like, dude, like, so sad.
This from The Strong Man. But what they didn't know was that they were sending me messages that encouraged me to be weak. Over the next 10 years, he got stronger and stronger. And he would be around people who wanted to live their life at the level I was trying to live mine at. Hallelujah. Amen. Because, you know, who you're around, who you surround yourself with matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes it's those closest to you who have been around you for the longest time, you know, kind of preventing your growth. So he left. He was like, I got to get out of here. I got to surround myself with people who are going to lift me up, encourage me, you know, like attracts like, you know, that, and your circle matters. So that definitely for me is the chapter.
Mm-hmm. Also, when he gives you sort of permission, like, you know, you'll have to leave some people, you know, like I lost friends and that was okay, you know, because sometimes we think we have to stay where we're at or stay around the same people that we're around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I think that was probably mine too.
Yeah.
I think it just had so much as far as the emotion and also the lessons. Like it wasn't just one lesson. It was like so many lessons in that one chapter.
Yep. I'm with you. Now, question 5. What, if any, questions do you still have about the plot? Monique, I'll give you that one first.
About the plot. I don't know. I have to think. I didn't know about this one. I didn't get a chance to go over all the questions yet. So I don't know. I didn't get a chance to think about that.
Okay. Catherine, what about you?
Skip me. Yeah.
We'll come back.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's about the plot. I think the only question I really have is like the ending, like the person that drove the van, like who is like, what is he all about? Like, why? Like, Because I don't know what it says in the book.
What van? Hold on.
At the end, where
At the end, the person who drove the person who gave her the golden ticket. I don't know.
It's his father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the highlight.
Yeah. My thing is, I swear the whole time he was dead.
Me
I
too.
thought his father died.
Me too.
In the Audible book, it's the voice of Henry. That's why I was asking. Because I was like, wait, what? Like, why is he alive? He's supposed to be in the place other than. So that's why. But then I was like, oh, wait, I don't know what. Because you guys wouldn't have had the voice. So I was like, oh, wait, what does it say?
Okay.
So that's why I didn't get it.
So do you think that Henry was maybe the narrator's subconscious, his father, like leading him through it, since his father's the one who technically gave Mary the ticket, who gave the narrator the ticket to get into the circus? So, like, I don't know.
Well,
maybe
that's exactly my question about like
that's
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, so this magical place, I had to write my question down because so this magical place, is it equivalent to like heaven where folks have passed on? Is it like consciousness? Or is it like an ongoing stream where we're all interrelated? Like, are these people, it seems like some of these people are alive, some of these people are dead. Like, how do you reconcile?
I don't think any of them are alive. I think they're all parts of his
subconscious,
his subconscious. And I think maybe Henry was the father figure trying to walk him through what his life should have been. I don't know.
You're talking about the end, Monique, like where with the van? Because now that's a good question.
Now that she's saying that the guy at the end, who is the father, had the voice of Henry, that makes sense, because the guy who came at the end was the guy who ultimately gave Mary her ticket to get in. And I think he did that to get his son to go in to get the ticket to go in. So I think by giving his dad reaching out to Mary to reach out to the narrator, it could have been one and the same. I don't know.
But when you look at the passage, it says, someone who found me. Okay, let me just try this. So someone who found me and said he cared about me and you, someone who had decided to choose a different life. And then the driver's side door opened and an old man I didn't recognize got out and started walking towards us. That sounds like it indicates that he's alive.
No, yeah, no.
Okay.
My thing is that I assumed his father was dead, but then going back, you don't hear that he died. You just hear that he never saw him again.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like, when the last sentence, "Hi, son," I'm like, wait, what?
I know that was me for a loop. I think I went on a loop-de-loop on that one.
Yeah. So his father, honestly, like basically ruined, like tortured him, like ruined his life, and then came back and tried to fix it for him. Like crazy. Wish my dad would do that. No, I'm just kidding.
I hear you on that. I think we're all out here reparenting ourselves.
I'm telling you. Let us not be our parents, please.
Oh man. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting if Henry is supposed to be the father figure, because he did say, like when he asked Henry, "Why do you help me?" and he said, "Because I knew I could help you."
Yeah.
And his father was trying to help him, probably by helping Mary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, especially speaking through Mary, because he knew that was the one person that could reach him.
Yeah.
So did you, Monique, did you have a chance to?
I think that was it. The ending. Yes, the ending. So many questions.
Speaking of which, that's the next question. How did you feel about the ending and how might you change it?
I think I probably just would have I feel like it ended like really abruptly, and I would have liked it to go into more detail. Like I would have liked to see like what happened after, or what his dad were to say to Henry, like not to Henry, geez, I'm calling to the narrator. Or maybe just a little bit more of like how his dad and Mary like met, like where did he come from? Like, I don't know. Those are all my questions that I had. Like, where did he come from? How did he get to Mary? Why didn't he just go to the narrator? Like
this Henry guy, right?
The dad.
The dad.
The dad, okay.
Yeah. Who could be Henry? Like
I know. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, maybe that was him all along.
Yeah.
Because he had to, because think about it. He had to leave in order for Henry, or for the narrator to finish his message. And maybe it was within him leaving that he somehow magically like got back into his father's body or something. I don't know, and finished the story.
I don't know. So many questions.
Oh, yes. Catherine, what about you? What did you think of the ending? And how would you?
I was happy that Mary lived, and I was like happy that I thought it was interesting that I was gone for the same amount of time, you know, like
40 days.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And that she knew she had been gone for 40 days. I thought that was interesting. But I agree with Monique. It would have been nice if they did like, those time lapse things they do in
like a prologue or something.
Shows where it's like in 5 years, and then you see, or even just like she said too, the conversation with the dad, there, like how did you, like some sort of explanation instead of leaving you hanging.
Yeah. No, I felt strongly about the end of I think the last chapter, I was just like, the last 2 chapters, I couldn't put it down. There was just so much happening back to back. And you're like, oh my gosh, he's dying. Like, what's going to happen? We're about to find out. Like, it was almost edge of your seat. It ended just as strong as it started. Like, at the beginning, you were edge of your seat. And at the end, you were edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I don't know that I would change the ending. Well, to some extent, right? The question number 7 is what do you think will happen next to the main characters? So with that, I feel like they're gonna get married. I feel like they'll run off happily, get married. I wonder who he'll give his second ticket to.
My question is, when they each got 2 tickets, one to give to somebody else and one to go back. But why would you need to go back?
But I don't think it is actually going back. I think it's inviting you to wake up every day into your new life.
Oh, totally went over my head. Why would he want to go back and live through all that again? Like,
no, I thought the same thing. Like, is it a different experience? Do you go on different rides? But then I don't know. For some reason, I think that it's inviting you to every day step into that future that's possible for you if you accept it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. I'm looking at this, and it says your past a possibility, and to basically make the life you deserve.
Well, I will say that I think that they will get married, and I think that he'll quit his job and he'll find his job that he really wants to do, and he'll find his passion and make sure that him and Mary live a very happy life. Doesn't matter how big your house is or how financial stability is great and all, but you should be happy with what you're doing and live your life to the best of your ability.
Yeah. It's not, financial stability is not worth being miserable every day.
Your happiness and your joy. What's the point? Like they say, money can't buy you happiness, because you could have all the happiness in the world, or you could have all the money in the world and be miserable as hell.
Absolutely. Well, and so that kind of makes me think, this isn't a question that I had written down, but with the last ride, this is what Crank said. In the end, love is always the last ride. How do you feel about that? I was like, you know, like how does that, how is that possible, or how does that, you know what I mean?
So what I first thought of that is like romantic love. Like you have to have romantic love. Like you have to have love in another partner. But I think now that I like actually think about it, it's like you have to love yourself and love your situation that you're in. And as long as you are happy and you love what you're doing, that's the most important part. And that's the most valuable thing to take away. It's like, because it's not always about like romance, and you don't have to have a partner, even though it's nice. You don't always have to have somebody in your life or have romantic love for your life to be meaningful, if that makes sense.
What I thought of was that love gives you, whether it's love for yourself or love for someone else, it gives you a purpose. It gives you a, if you don't love yourself, you don't strive to change. You just are, go along. But it made me think of like when my husband and I were really struggling. And like, if he hadn't loved me as much as he did, he wouldn't have changed. Things would have ended because it happens sometimes. But I feel like, he felt like that love was worth fighting for. And it was a big enough catalyst to change for.
Now, did you have any merry moments to make that happen? Like there are a few merry moments that I've had to try, in my past where I've thought, okay, like because he ultimately did change. Well, we don't know if he changed, but he seems to have the passion and the drive to change. But just in your own experience, do you feel like you've had to, get kind of, it seems like Mary went through some dramatic things, or, was willing to go to the end of the earth to get him there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we had to come to the end. I had to be like, okay, I have a divorce lawyer where like I'm not doing this because I don't want to be with you. I'm doing this because it's not healthy like we are right now. Yeah. And if things change, that's great. We could, be reunited later or whatever. But right now, this situation isn't healthy. You're not seeming to want to do anything about it. So I have to do what's best for me, what's best for the kids, and I had to stay really firm in that. And, I truly believe it was a miracle. I prayed a ton. And I think when I did, hand it over to God, like, I know that, divorce is not great, but this is what I'm in right now. And I know you can change it, and I know he can change it, but I know I can't change it. I can only do me. So this is what I need to do for me. And if you, want to do anything. And so it was definitely not just like a, fairy tale, like he loved me so much he changed. No, it was like this situation where it was a dire situation and something was bound to change. And so he just, I was lucky that he changed.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought of when it said love is the
last ride.
The last ride.
Well, to me, it's crazy that she had to be on her deathbed for all of this to happen. And it's like, how do people get motivated, or how do you help motivate people? And that's like you just said, they have to want it. They have to realize like what's at stake here in order to make those changes, to make those moves. Because you can't do it.
Like like you go through things and you have ups and downs, but until the pain of not changing
becomes more than
the pain of staying the same, it doesn't change.
Right.
And then even if something does happen, like say you're in a car crash and it's so painful and you're like, okay, I have to change. If that desire doesn't stay, if that mountain's too hard to climb, then you start to, if you keep getting knocked down, you can still slide back into, you know what, it's easier to not change. It's easier to be miserable, you know, like this level of miserable than to climb up to this just to, you know, get to the mountaintop or whatever, you know, it's, but that's not like abnormal, like that's everybody. It's something, there has to be a catalyst that makes you, and it doesn't have to be on your deathbed, but there has to be something that makes you want to change. And it can be, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but just, you know, like reading books or learning more or being educated, you know, like it can be good things that make you want to change too. But it has to be something has to enter in to change the trajectory.
Meet life coach Catherine. This is what I'm talking about. She's legitimately a life coach. I hope anyone who comes across this video, like, I used to ponder the difference between, well, I had to ponder the difference between like a therapist and a life coach because, you know, I know I wanted to change. You know, I was like making the same decisions over and over and over again. And I was fortunate enough to find Catherine, and this book club would not be here without you. Like, honestly, and not that it's just like the crazy thing is, it's not like you gave me the idea, but what happened was she helped me to see what my roadblocks were, and I removed those roadblocks, and then it made space for me to flourish in my passions, which is how this kind of came about. And so give it up to Catherine. Yeah. But no, I think with the love being the last ride, I tend to agree with, I think, Monique, you were saying that love, whether self-love or romantic love, motivates a lot of, is really the motivating factor for many, you know. Did she freeze?
I think, yeah.
Okay, I was just like, she's real stoic.
I know. It's like, wow, she's not even moving.
Let me see if I don't know where we lost her. Let me see if I could text her.
She left.
Back? Oh, she left. Okay, she'll probably be back on.
She'll probably come back in.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, no, that book I wasn't even expecting it to be as enriching, like soulfully enriching as it was.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, like the stories were, they were just relatable. You know, they were so relatable, and some painful, you know, some were a little painful to listen to, and I'm like, I can't imagine that having happened, and some really sad, like it has to pull at your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Oh, she got kicked out. Let me see. Let me see if I can get her to rejoin. We actually did good. We stayed just about under an hour. It looks like. I know last time I had crazy technical difficulties.
Yeah, it was hard to start.
Yeah, this time I'm just using my phone.
That's good. It's good to know that ahead of time, what you need to do.
Hey, I had the net, like the tightrope. You know, I had the net.
Yeah.
It didn't fail. It didn't fully fail. It worked out. Well, I don't know if she's gonna. Oh, she's trying to get in now, and then I figure we can wrap it up with what's happening next. You should do a plug on, while we're waiting for her. Do a plug on your life coaching for anyone out there. Tell us all about it.
Well, I got into life coaching because I was like talking to a lot of people that I was meeting or that are in my life, and some of them had these big dreams, but weren't even really considering them because they didn't think, like, who am I to start a business, or who am I to do this? And other ones were just complaining about their jobs or their parenting or their relationships, but not really feeling like there was anything they could do to change it. And I just wanted people to, like, I just want everybody to know that there's always something you can do to change it. Even if you've been in the same job for 40 years and you're about to retire, I'm not saying you need to find a new job, but you can change your perspective, like we learned about in this book. You can change who you are showing up at that job and your thoughts around that job, which will then, you know, make it a whole different experience. And so that's why I got into life coaching. And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I like it. I like you literally can change the trajectory of your life at any moment if you so choose. So
Could be a completely different person in a year if you're just willing to do the work, if you're you know, and if you're like, I just love all the things about personal development. You know, I love all of what they teach, you know, how like failing is a good thing because that's when we grow, and being challenged is a good thing because you grow outside your comfort zone, and all the things personal development I just love and have really helped me to grow and helped me to become a better person, mom, wife, friend, all the things. So it's been good.
Well, if anyone's watching this and wants to find Catherine, she's at Finding True North. Did I get that right?
Finding True North Coaching.
Finding True North Coaching.com.
Yep.
And she's going to still be a member of our book club, FYI.
Yeah. So what is the next? Are you going to tell us like what the next book is about?
Yes. So Monique dropped off. She's doing her computer reboot. So we're just going to continue since we live anyways. So the next month's book is going to be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Essentially, this book is within the library, there's going to be a bunch of different books. Looks like she's back on. Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
I don't know what happened. I had to do it on my cell phone.
We were like, wow, she's awfully still. We didn't realize it had frozen for a bit. So we're like,
good picture.
Well, that's so cute. I'm like, look, she came back with the max glow.
Oh. Now I still can't get it together with this.
No, you're good. We're like wrapping up, but before you left, I'll just tell you what we did. So I was just co-signing what you said about love being the last ride, and whether that's self-love or romantic love. A lot of people are motivated by one or the other to really move forward and change their life. So just co-signed on that. And then Catherine did a plug for her life coaching business. I made sure she talked about how she got into it. And she's found at findingtruenorthcoaching.com. And now we're just going to wrap up with next month's book pick, which is going to be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So basically this book is going to, I look like, I look like one of those kids right now in school when the teacher calls on them and is like, what's it about? And I'm like, verbatim, it's so basically, to sum it up, she gets a chance to, and this is how I'm understanding it. She goes into a library, and within each book, she gets a chance to choose a different life path. That's how it seems to be. Monique, you have the book already, so am I on the right? Am I lukewarm?
Yes. So I think she either does or tries to commit suicide, and instead of dying, she goes to this midnight library, and each book represents a different way that different path her life could have taken her on. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
I don't know if she obviously I haven't read it, so I don't know if she actually dies or not.
Whew. This could be potentially heavy.
Yeah. But I've heard nothing but great things. Like every time I listen to or watch reviews on it, it's been nothing but great things. So I'm actually really excited to read it.
Me too.
My mom's gonna join too next month. I don't know if she'll join this, but she's gonna read it, and if she's not on this, she'll be in the comments.
Okay, cool. Because I can the comments both on StreamYard and on YouTube, so we can respond to comments and as questions come up.
Yeah.
Now I look like just opening the book, just if anyone still wants to join before the month ends for July. It's thick. It looks on the outside like it's going to be a long read, but I did a Google search. It should take for the average reader. It takes about 4 hours reading 30 words per minute. So, I mean, chop that down into a month. You spend like 30 minutes a day, if that. Like, you don't even need that much. It seems like it'll be something to get through.
Read it fast.
Yeah.
I just went to put a hold on the audio book because for the library, and it says I'm number 152 and there's 10 copies. So I think I might be buying it.
Really? Yeah. As soon as
But it shows it's a popular book that a lot of people are waiting to read this book. So
yeah,
this will be a fun.
I'll tell my sisters about it too. They're book read, and some of the people in my workout group are book readers. So
tell them to join.
I'll send them a note. I'll forward the email that you sent, the intro.
It's this, so the StreamYard can hold up to 10 people, like on video, which is awesome. I mean, for now we're only doing an hour, but if there's more, we can extend it an hour and a half. Like, I go to bed around 10 anyways. My son, he's knocked out, peacefully most of the time. So, so we should be good.
In the comments if they're not comfortable going live.
Absolutely.
Time. We'll have a good time here.
We'll party. This is a party. Yeah.
Did we talk about like when the next one is going to be and how much are we do the same thing, like read half of it, then talk about it? And
good bringing it up.
Ahead. Okay.
No, you're good because I would have forgotten. So as far as tempo goes, and you guys let me know, I'm thinking we do this every other week. Is that what I mean? We could do weekly, but I feel like weekly every Friday, might be. Huh?
That's a commitment.
That's a commitment, yeah. So I think every other week is good.
I need to.
What do you guys think?
In camera, in frame.
Yep.
Every other week is good. Okay.
Great.
And then, same time. And what was the other thing, Monique?
Huh? How much to read?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So for the first book club, I would say, let's see. So this isn't. It's not named by chapters. So, by like chapter 1, chapter 2. So I say let's get through, because this is about to be a commitment, like you said. Like the first, we'll use the number 40. Lucky number. No, that's still first 50 pages.
How many pages is the book?
The book is 300. No. I think it's 300 and.
So why don't we do 300 pages and then the last one we could do like whatever it is.
What was your recommendation?
To do every 100, like to get through like the first 100 pages.
Okay.
Usually to get through a book, like if you like it, you get to the first 100 pages. That's where it should have that's where the plot should start to move. And then after that, we can do like the
Welcome
next
to
pages.
Yale, everyone.
Huh?
Welcome to Yale. I said welcome to Yale.
Yeah.
Harvard. This is how we about to speed Harvard reading around here. No, I'm just kidding. No, 100 pages is good.
Well,
so then the second one we'll read the last 200 and something.
Or if we do it every other week, we could. Oh wait, my math
is going to be 2 weeks in July.
I'm horrible at math, so.
You're good. No, I think we could just start with the first 100 and then the second one. Well, wherever we're at, we'll try to get to the end.
Obviously, it's not going to.
Oh, I muted somehow.
Did you mute yourself?
Me?
Okay, you're good.
My sister was calling me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So what is closest to 100? Where does that leave us? What chapter?
That one is Peppermint Tea.
Okay.
Peppermint Tea. It doesn't have a chapter name.
So we finished Peppermint Tea?
We read up to and before Peppermint Tea. So
okay.
We read up to Peppermint Tea. Okay.
The Successful Life. Yep, The Successful Life. And I'll be sure to put all of this in the email that I send out as well,
Okay.
for tracking purposes.
Perfect.
And also just like kind of the tempo for the rest of the book through July. And then just so you guys know too, like I chose all of the books just to, catch traction. If you guys have recommendations, first of all, when is your birthday months? I know, Monique, you're in January. Catherine,
August.
August. Okay. So what I'd like to do is for everyone's birthday month, they choose the book.
So my question is, what kind of theme are we going for? What kind of book are we going for? No, I read everything.
I know. Inspirational fiction? Do I have that right? Inspirational fiction?
Because I will have you guys read my favorite book, and it's not fantasy or anything like that. It's a historical fiction. It's a hard-hitting historical fiction.
So here are my criteria for books. They need to be realistic in terms of how long it'll take to read. And when I say realistic, I didn't want any book that was more than 300 pages long.
Okay.
So no more than 300 pages long. And then I do a Google search, like how long would it take to read the book? So, a healthy length. And then inspirational. So anything that is inspirational is kind of what I'm going for.
So how about you?
But not self-help specifically.
It's not a self-help. So it's called 1,000 Splendid Suns by, hold on. I want you to Google it or you research it and you tell me if it sounds like something that we could read, because I will totally reread it again. It's my favorite book of all time.
Wait, you already read it?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, but I read it a long time ago, but I still I still come back to it, and I literally just bought because I have it on my iPad, and I literally bought the actual book. But let me see how many pages it is. It's called 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khalid Hassani. It looks. Oh, can I switch this around? Looks like that.
Okay.
So it's about. Okay, because I would love to reread it and rereading it with you guys and talk about it, so I actually have people to talk about it. It'd be great.
Okay. Catherine, you were going to say something, I think.
No, I will spend some time the next day or two trying to think of one.
Okay.
So I can send it to you ahead of time and see what you think.
Yes. So I'll tell you what we have for August right now. I think we have a mix of August and September because I chose a really long book. Yeah. So for August and September, I had chosen The Outlaw Ocean because that's like 500 pages. So I figured we could just break it up into 2 months if it's a super long book. So it's either The Outlaw Ocean or whatever you might choose for August. And
okay.
Something else for September. So let me know. And then for anyone else who's going to join, who's going to let me know so I can send them a mug.
Yeah, I'll send the email out and see if anyone's interested in joining for next month.
All right. Well, it was fun. I loved Life's Golden Ticket. This was actually Catherine's recommendation anyways.
So if I don't find one for August, I'm off the hook.
You're totally off the hook. Matter of fact, I should just take it off the table because this was yours. No, I'm just kidding. But
Nicole pick.
Nicole,
if you don't find something that you like for your birthday month.
Okay. Well, my birthday month is September, so I got that. Well, that's kind of where The Outlaw Ocean comes in, but that's
I was going to say Nicole's in August, but it's not March.
No, she's at March.
Yeah, so she's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I remember that.
And then Erin, who just joined, who's going to be in for July, she's October. So we should all be a little,
spread out a little bit.
Spread out. And then you guys can just rock, paper, scissors in the future if someone else joins and has a similar birthday. Call it. All right, guys. Well, thank you for being a part of this first month. I think it was super successful. Let your friends know, let your family know, and let's keep it going.
Sounds
happy 4th of
Will do.
July.
yes. Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Happy
Right.
4th of July.
And that's all I got. So I'll see y'all next time. Mugshot. Bye.
Oh gosh.
Bye.
Bye.